Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Forward Physio. For those who don't know, I quit my job at the end of last year at the old clinic that I worked at. And my intention was to basically build a new career for myself on my own. Oh, the purpose of this podcast is to just give you a little life update and to give you, I guess, a glimpse into what it's like to sort of venture on this entrepreneurial physio journey as a new grad. So, if you've been thinking about doing your own thing or you're just interested in the life update, stick around. If you're more interested in the interviews that we do on this podcast, then feel free to check in next time. So essentially what I did to start off was I went to a local gym nearby called Philosophy Fitness, and it's like a private training slash group fitness type gym. So it's not open up to the general public. It's only opened up for private training and also for group classes. They also have like a jujitsu studio there. They have a chiropractor there, and they have a massage therapist there already. So I knew they were open to having rehab professionals in the space. Now, what I originally wanted to do was rent out space at Philosophy and just take the patients that I had that needed to be active and use the gym floor there to work on their rehab. Some time went on, and I realized that it's kind of awkward to bring on new patients into that setting. You know, like you're having this intimate conversation with them about their pain and their life. And meanwhile, like people are like working out all around you. It's not really like a private, comfortable setting that's conducive to like a good one-on-one relationship. So, starting April 1st, there's an office in Philosophy that is the owner's, but he doesn't really use it. So, we decided to convert that office into a physio clinic, just a mini one for me. In case you're interested in any of the financials, in Canada, most physios operate based off of a split with the clinic that they're working at. So it could be anywhere from maybe like 40 to 60% of a split. So you get a patient, 40% of that money goes to you, 60% goes to the clinic. And that's a typical starting wage for a lot of physios. At my old clinic, I was on a 50% split. Now, given this new situation at Philosophy, I'm not going to be splitting the money with anybody. I'm just going to be paying rent. And this is a much more lucrative opportunity if I actually see patients. So, right now, I'm not seeing many people. I'm just seeing a few people per week. And I don't actually have this physical office yet. But I didn't want to just give you highlight reels. I wanted to give you a real glimpse into what my life is actually like now. So, hopefully, you can watch this process as I grow into a successful clinician who runs their own business. Now, while this is all very like financial business talk, I want to reiterate that like I'm a clinician first and foremost. And if you are thinking about starting your own venture, I encourage that. And if you are focused on making a good living for yourself, I encourage that too. But don't get lost in the plot. We all probably joined healthcare so that we could be great for our patients and we could help people. So don't lose sight of that, because I feel like a lot of the time we will hate on clinic owners, but at the end of the day, like they have to make a living. So, starting in April, I'm going to have my own physical office. I could put whatever I want up on the walls. I could design the space how I want. And it's going to be a clinic that feels like my own, just in someone else's building. So, that part I'm really, really excited about. I also think it's a more lucrative opportunity. And also, the aspects of becoming a successful clinician on my own and building my own caseload and building trust within the community is also something that really excites me. Here's the con of all of this, though. I am now in my third year of practice, and I am not in a setting where I have any clinical mentorship. So, what I'm doing now is not something that I would recommend to somebody who's just starting off their physio career. And I'm sure that there's physios that are 5, 10, 20 years ahead of me that maybe wouldn't recommend it to me right now. And I see where they're coming from. And to a point, I do agree. I would love to be in a space where I did have great clinical mentorship and I had others to learn from, right? Because again, like, yes, it's great to have your own successful business, but I want to be an excellent clinician and a knowledgeable clinician above anything. So, how can I pursue that goal of being a well educated clinician, even though there's no clinical mentorship around me? Well, the first thing is I have this podcast, right? And in this podcast, I interview experts from around the world on a particular topic. Selfishly, it's awesome for me because I get to interview people that are very intelligent and I get to ask them whatever is on my mind. And then I share it with you. So there is a little bit of a selfish element that goes into this. So that helps me stay up to date. The other thing is, as you may know, I work for Physio Network. And part of my role with them has me reading their research reviews, which helps. The larger role that I have with them is with the creation of the new case study service. So, what that is basically I reach out to clinicians and ask them to make a 1 hour presentation on a patient that they've worked with. And we've had people that have created a case study that have also been on my own podcast, like Chris Juno, Jason Torrey, Bo Walker Tyrell, who's the stress fracture physio. So ask them to create this case study, and then it's my job to review it and edit it after. So I get to watch these presentations so that I could learn from these expert clinicians. So I have these incentives with the podcast and with Physio Network sort of built into my life to make sure that I keep on learning. And on top of that, I'm going to make sure that I keep on reading research and that I take in-person courses as well. So basically the point of what I'm saying is if you do want to go out on your own, I think there's a lot of perks for it, but make sure that you have a plan in place that will allow you to continue learning and to be a very well developed clinician. And that's it. Hopefully, I have good news for you guys in a couple months' time when I actually have this physical space and I'm taking on new patients. And if you're interested in this journey, just let me know if you are. And also, let me know if you have any questions. I'd like to make any videos that address any questions that you guys may have. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.